don't skip ahead. I have read the light novels, all the officially released ones for ReZero. So, like, not a blind reaction. Not, like, spoilers! Like, if you care about spoilers from Season 2, which is where roughly the first course, probably all I've seen. If you care enough to come back, when I stop saying don't skip ahead at the start of my videos, that's when you can trust that I have not seen it. That's all I gotta say about that. We are continuing the Subaru is at his worst, lowest point arc of ReZero. Oh my god. I love and hate these stretch of episodes, and I hate it for all the right reasons. All the right reasons. So it's technically good. But I have the least fun rewatching these episodes. Because god is it hard. Woo! Link in the description for the non-timer version of the video if you want to. You can pull up your copy of the episode and not press play. Blah, 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 words. Just fucking bye. I don't even need to be in the episode. Got my water. Fell into my chair. I think as far as combat ability goes for Subaru, they're building him towards being a general all-rounder. He's probably never going to be strong enough to take on one of the big wigs by himself, but he's getting better, is my general inclination to believe. Crush is one of the only characters that, what with the information I have, from this and from Season 2, that I'm not sure how I feel about fully. Reinhardt, yeah. This is the scene I've been talking about, where I think it's partially from his perspective, if I remember correctly in the books. It could be way off. And he genuinely thinks of Subaru as a fan. Yep, this is the new OP. I don't like this one nearly as much, but it's still awesome, especially on the visuals. The visuals are killer in both OPs, and I'm gonna make a decision. Whether I think the first one's probably a hands down winner for visuals, in my opinion, but I do like, yeah, it is. I like this one a lot, but some of the imagery just doesn't do it as much for me. And this is why I don't watch OPs typically until after I've seen a show or I've gotten an okay, because Petal Goose, his character models reveal everything. Supposed to be a bit of a surprise. I don't like that. God, that's such a great shot. Yeah. And like the first time watching this, it felt more like he was just posturing, but going back, it really does seem like he genuinely thinks that way. Reinhardt is cool as hell, and I'm hoping he doesn't end up being a bad guy, like, long term. Not a bad guy like he's evil, but like an antagonist. It wasn't really a misunderstanding so much. I don't blame Subaru for this. The immediacy for him of it makes him a tad irrational in this regard. Don't get me wrong, he's still wrong. But, like, there are things to blame Subaru for, especially the events of last episode. Being a bit dickish to that proposal there. I get it. He's still wrong, especially since Reinhardt is being so best boy material. God, Rem is so overly understanding, like... Her, like, putting him to sleep and abandoning him later, I think in this episode probably, is one of the moments that hit me the hardest in this show, because I understood why she did it, but it's like... Subaru is just, like, running out of options by that point, and we as the viewer know that if he's not involved, things really are fucked. Though she can't possibly know that. Part of the tension, a lot of it, is not understanding how return by death works. Because we don't know if there's a time limit for how long the loop lasts, or if it's based on location, like he moves to a different location, bam, new save point. So we don't know, like, if long enough time transpires, if he just loses his previous save point, or if there's something more to it. Even, yeah, this is the thing with him. He needs reading the mood is as he puts it himself, is his weakness. Even if he's angry, he needs to learn to be angry and quiet. He has no self-restraint. That's fair. Little unfair because Amelia sort of assumes that people get her situation, because most people aren't from another world. I do tend to wonder if she's only probing him for information in these conversations. Not that it matters, since he has save points before this, and he's gonna die a few times. These scenes play differently when you know she has the power to tell lies. And of course, I might have missed it if they talked about it here, but I do. I think the shock of learning that Felix was trying to brainwash him is quite strong. Not like evil brainwash him, but like give him a different mindset. Kind of paints him in a bad light. Subaru is like in is probably because of his very particular ability. Yeah, that's a big problem with him. He really needs to learn how to control himself in these political situations. Subaru is genuinely probably the most dangerous person in this world because of his power. It just does not manifest itself in single combat. Beyond a couple moves, like with the situation with Elsa. I do like getting inside the more clear interpretation of Krush we get in the books, where she genuinely does just want the fairest fight for it. And this is a dangerous way of thinking for him. Which is implying that Subaru is lying here, which it confuses me, because what else is the wind for if not lies? Because of foreshadowing, implying that there's something about his statement that is off, and we never really directly explained how Crucia's power works, right? She intentionally obscures it some so its weaknesses aren't known. So it could be that there's another person who returns by death in this world. That's my head. That's not my headcanon, my theory. To explain the lying wind. It might not be a known lie kind of situation. Like you might think it's the truth. Is this did Ram have the thing? Can you blame him for thinking that way? Of course, again, a lot of what's going on right now is to Roswell's design, which is amazing. Once he loses this dangerous way in thinking, Subaru ends up being a much better person for the rest of the series. He has to go through hell to get to that point. See, be even if Subaru is being an idiot in how he's interpreting his own power and what he can do with it, his ego growing, he's still correct because of the power. The battle with the white whale is one of the moments where it's not just good character. You realize, oh my god, they've got a feel for action truly too. Because we don't really. Most of the fights in the show are rather short, with the exception of Elsa. But the white whale is a full scale battle that lasts a while. And I'm looking forward to talking about it with you guys. That is the rough part, is like, really and truly, no matter how brazen and in personally in his own head being idiotic Subaru is, he's still correct to go. And even though Puck's gonna be mad at him and Amelia's gonna be mad at him, it's the right thing, and that's kind of the rough thing, being the audience, knowing what he's going through, is that all the other characters, no matter how logical they're being with the information they have, can never have the full picture. And of course, this is going to be the roughest moment. The point in the show where I feel the most sorry for Subaru. Because really and truly, he is useless if he's not present for the bad things. And although Rem is, with the information she has at hand, making the correct decision in a second here, God, it fucks him! And her! It's like, Subaru's ego, if it stayed where it was roughly in the first episode, overall would have been fine. Because he was a little bit bloated in the head. Now it's way worse. Which isn't necessarily a problem on the external value of him, but it makes him a less likable character, which is good. Because not all the changes that Subaru goes through make him more likable. Because of all the times Subaru gets tricked and he's fooled because he's a little dense and he doesn't read the situation too well. Plus, it's just good tricks usually. It's not like a smart person wouldn't fall for any of this stuff. I'm looking forward to a point where he doesn't fall for it the first time. Probably not going to be with Rem again because by the point of season 2, they've built such a good relationship. It's probably not going to be with her, but with someone else. I'm hoping he sees through it the first time, where it's a type of situation where he wouldn't have. She wrote it all. An eye glyph, for the record, is what they spelled out in the book. She was thinking of him. This is rough too, because him losing his faith in Rem, which thankfully he completely gets back soon enough. Just, it's hard. It's harder than the times we see him cry. It's harder than times we see him dying, because this is the time that Subaru feels truly alone. And that's rough. I don't like how they gloss over the meeting with Otto like this, because Otto, it was more of a fully described scene, and Otto becomes important enough, little in this season, but especially in season 2, that he deserves more of a full introduction than what he got right there. You saw how it was just like they montaged it right there. He deserves better. Times like this, I wish I was doing this reaction with like someone who was right next to me. I feel like we'd bounce off each other better than what I can call off myself. Otto, and this is only because of the books, never expected him to become one of my favorite characters. Is it going to be the next loop where he's silent, mad, or as Petzelgoose puts it, more regressing into himself than mad? Yeah, he's gonna die here, and then he'll hug Rem and be crazy for the rest of the next loop, and that's when he's gonna meet Petalgoose. The Descent into Madness, something like that is the episode title. The Beginnings of Madness, whatever it's called. And of course, this is going to be the rough. I love how he's sort of barely seeing it, and it's slowly revealed to us that way, because it's such a shocking scene that, like, he's barely even processing it, and therefore, as our connection, we're barely processing it, in that we can't see it at all until he really sees it. I love that they don't hold back on the imagery either. Like, God. I don't know. I tend to wonder if it would have been better if they went for berserk level of gore or not. I think we're about to see Petra dead too, which always rough, but it's not going to be as rough as when we see it in season 2. I said I would spoil things. What do you want from me? You poor bastard. Sickness called despair. Oh yeah, and he's gonna carry her and like be killed by the giant cat creature, who we later find out is Puck. Um, Easier to figure out in the book, by the way, because of that previous scene where he reveals himself to be the Great Spirit. Yada. Where are we gonna see Petra? Was that her? Shit. I feel ya. It's still true. Subaru getting his cold doses of reality. He needs them, but God, they kick him in the nuts so hard for it that it's just like, it's mean. Oh no, he's gonna go into the basement and die, that's right. It's the next loop that he's gonna be killed by the, it's gonna slice his head off. I love that in this loop of deaths, all the deaths are Puck's responsibility. All of them it's Puck. Well, presumably for the first death. I love that Subaru really acknowledges this after the fact in the books too. He's like, "Hey, wait a minute, Puck killed me all those times." There's Petra. Oh God, golly. This doesn't get, well, I mean, it's a little less shocking, of course, now, but this doesn't get any easier just because you know they're gonna come back. And at some point, I just feel it in my bones. Somebody's gonna die. And I don't think it's gonna be Amelia or Rem. I don't think they're gonna go that far. Somebody's gonna die that we can't get back. Maybe an Otto or a Felt, one of those. It's just too late, one of those situations. I feel it in my gut that that's what we're gonna get. This is, of course, implying that Amelia died down there. Jesus. Whenever Subaru's leg is knocked off, it's not clear enough imagery, in my opinion. I think they kind of shield it from direct view a little too well. That you probably realize what happened. It just doesn't hit how bad it was the first time around. In the anime, what suffered the most for one of these types of scenes is when Elsa sliced off the sole of her foot to escape the ice prison she was in, and it's like, I've watched reaction videos. No one catches what the fuck was going on the first time that happens. Whereas in the book, it's obvious because they explain it to you. I love this episode. Absolutely love it. It's at this point, this episode, or at least this point in the book, where I started to like Felix. Because in the book, we start getting a little bit more direct characterization for him. Uh, Felix just hates death and is giving up on life, more importantly. As someone who's a healer and tries to bring people back to life, very important for him. Mm-hmm. She's the only one who can see that. Another character, Garfield, spoilers again, is going to be able to tell too, which is going to make season 2 a very interesting watch for me. I'm gonna love going through that for the first time with that information, because again, I've only read it once. Just imagine a ReZero where that loop where she fell in love with him went differently. It was just sad. Aww. And it's not so much that he's faking it right now. It's that he's lying to himself is what it is. I'm so looking forward to the scene where they basically confess to each other, but he's like, I love Amelia. I feel so sorry for this poor blue-haired girl. You know, it took me like 3 rewatches to finally. This is how bad I am with names. To finally be like, yes, this one's Rem, this one's Rem, and how important of characters they are, you understand how stupid I am with names. Stupid in general. Next level, like 30 IQ, stupid with names. Oh, God. I love that now that she loves Subaru to that degree, her demon form acknowledges him more directly, like with Ram. It's amazing to think that the sloth branch of the witch's cult is so much weaker than greed and gluttony. I love this line. You have come here and steal my reason to die too? Don't you just love the word the poetry in this show? Like it competes with Game of Thrones for one-liners of the gods, okay? And there's our man. I just got a spam text from a porn person. Probably click, if I click the link, I'll probably get a virus. But ooh, the Petal Goose is a character that, word wise, he doesn't come off quite as good as in the book, but his movements sell the nature of the character so perfectly that you have to. I'm looking it up. I need to shout out the studio proper. Stufo. That's how I spelled it. Stufo. Studio White Fox brought it, and they brought it hard. I really hope they're doing season 2, actually, now that I think about it. They did a Kamiga Kill, which was awesome, though a little though badly written, if I'm being honest. Steins Gate, oh, just 0. Goblin Slayer was pretty kick-ass. So yeah. Oh, they're doing season 2. Yes. No, White Fox is just great. I love how they set him up as a foil for Subaru. Uh, Basically the logical extreme of the crazy that Subaru has. Uh, for Amelia, but for Satella in Petalgoose's case, that Subaru kind of shows in the Elseworld story that I've been telling you about, the one that if he had died after the fourth fight with Elsa instead of surviving. Look at this guy. No. Season 2. They've got Echidna, but I wonder if in the second core we're gonna meet. That Greed doesn't really show up much in the first core. I wonder if in the second core we're gonna meet a villain, like who serves the role of Petalgoose, so sort of a main antagonist type deal. It might be Echidna. I'm not sure. Whatever we're building to. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people watch this scene initially and they side with Subaru too much, where they don't see the truth in what Petalgoose is putting down. I do wish. I'll talk about it later in another episode. Best girl to the rescue. And horrifying body imagery coming up. I love the line that not Roswell, Petalgoose is gonna drop in a second here. Where he's like, "You're only here for him." Yep. He's got her number completely. Like, for all his craziness, he's actually quite the thinker. Jesus Christ. Oh, and now. Oh, Unseen hand. Jesus. Cold-blooded. How is she still alive? She's a demon, I guess. There's different physiology there, but oh my god. However, you failed, so slothful, something like that. Yep. Cold-blooded bastard. Mm-hmm. You can try. But you're not gonna be able to do it on your own. God. What possessed the author to write this scene? What the fuck was wrong with him, okay? Huma. And of course, that's what took her out. Live. Live, you bastard. Live! Live! You're never gonna see this figure of Rem getting sold. Ah! Oh, those eyes. Those poor, poor eyes. God damn. And of course, this is where big boy cat guy is gonna. Oh my god. You thought Winter was creepy in this season. Just wait till next season, man. Ah! It clearly starts with a P. It starts with a P in the book. He says it with a P here. It's not Beetlejuice. Don't say it anymore. He might come. Definitely his most powerful death. Does make you question something that's going to become relevant in season 2. Because this scene, the world doesn't immediately change. This implies that something we see in season 2 is true. That, um, it's possible that he's leaving different timelines behind and they're just with him but a Subaru dead. So that one part where he killed himself, that timeline's just got a dead Subaru and a dead Rem, and they're just like, why'd he jump off a cliff? Possible, not for sure, but possible is the thing, and this sort of reinforces it that it's at least possible. Although what we're seeing here could be the world disappearing, that sort of thing. God, I hope they don't cut down that scene at all when they talk about it in season 2. I hope that's a full episode because that was a powerful portion of the book. And of course, boom. We're gonna see him walk with his like look of determination and anger, but he's gonna be completely useful in the next episode. Useless in the next episode. Despite it feels like Subaru's going on his perfect rampage at the end of this episode where it's like he's got that anger, but he's still stupid. And I like that. I like that just being mad didn't make him better. Mm-hmm. There it is. The outside of madness. The greed of a pig, of course, referring to the scene where Priscilla calls him out for his bullshit. Um, I'm gonna stop the timer. Set my count down for 3 minutes as I've done for 30 minutes. No, we don't need that. And as we've done before, I will be right back. So we're gonna watch this. Right. Dun, 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 dun. Can't hold this for 25 seconds. None of you watch this on timer version anyway, but whatever. Aha. And of course, the next episode, or possibly the end of this episode, depending on how they time it. Again, they haven't really watched the director's cut beginning to end. Will be one of the happiest moments in this show where Rem gets him out of his rut. And it's a bad rut. Look at you. This is, of course, where he starts paying attention a little bit, and it lets him use that in the next arc. As I've said before, what he's gonna do in this episode, I understand they hammer it in a bit too hard. How bad he is at negotiating. They hammered in just too hard. Where, after Krush, and I think it goes to Priscilla next, to still be just as dumb with Anastasia was a little bit too far in my book. Where it was just like it was getting silly by that point. And actually, it goes to show what's supposed to be one of the moments for Anastasia, in my opinion, is weaker because of it. Because it's like we're supposed to respect how intelligent and like forward thinking and manipulative and powerful this woman is. Instead, it comes off as, good God, our main hero is just a fucking idiot. And I just think they screwed up the balance a little bit. Not a big deal, I just think they hammered a good point in too hard. Yeah, Anastasia's really the only one to suffer characterization-wise for this, because, like, instead of it being her cool moment where we are intimidated by her, it instead becomes, come on, Subaru. Let's see the little bead of sweat she's got there. Because Krush seems to want to help, but she can't just make it happen. She's got her entire clan to mobilize behind whatever decision she makes, and it's not just like she can do whatever she wants. It's not something he can promise. This first scene where he's being a bit dumb with negotiation, 100% get it. Mm-hmm. And this is why I tend to lean towards liking her, because. Mm, yep. Mm. And she's lying there, of course. 100% get it in this first scene. I don't want. See, I feel like people are gonna get mad at me if I point out small problems I have with the show, but like, I should be more brazen. Just deal with it, motherfuckers. But like, don't get me wrong. I completely love the characterization here, this first scene. It's when we get to Anastasia that I get irritated with how he's behaving in this episode. It goes too far. Which is funny because we just went through an entire uh day loop where he was lying to himself so effectively that she bought it. Mm-hmm. I love this line. See, it's not even that he's correct to say it, it's just such a great line regardless. Which is, of course, all part of his grand master scheme. God darn it. And this is, of course, the first scene where we become interested in Priscilla as an actual antagonist rather than someone who's just annoying. Though, it's a bit clearer in the book, as I've said up to this point. Mm-hmm. Literally, in this case. And this scene, this part that's coming up where she gets angry, it shows that there's every time she speaks, there's more thoughts going through her head than just being a bitch. I do wonder how this scene would have gone if he had chosen not to. Chosen. Aww. I almost wish this was the loop we were stuck with, so she could remember what she's about to say. What you just displayed was neither loyalty nor devotion. It's something more filthy, like a dog's dependence or a pig's greed. You lazy pig who knows only how to want, a pig's greed is the ugliest thing there is. And even if the witch's cult is defeated, I will strike down any camp you are part of. Your careless behavior and attitude has led me to that decision. Fuck yeah! I love this scene! Aldebaran. I wish that she could. Maybe she does. Maybe that we're gonna find out that she remembers the loops or some shit. I don't know. Maybe because of him. That'd be cool. But unlikely. In any case, I wish she could remember that because that was such a great, amazing, awesome scene that I just. I like this guy. I like him a lot. I think it's the last time we get to see him this season. These two, him and his brother, I think it is, I don't really care for. They're fine. I understand that it's desperation that gets him believing her so easily, but it's like all I'm saying is they hammer it in too much. If you disagree, I'm willing to hear it, but it's like, yeah. It's like she's playing her, she's showing her hand as in a mocking manner, like, get on the good side, wink, wink. At least he remembers this. I like that even if he's doesn't really put things together, at least he remembers them. In a show that does as much foreshadowing as this, it's extra true. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is, she probably just gonna ask him for more. I also don't like because he knew she wanted something. I no one says things like that. It's only meaningful in a show where the guy goes back in time. There's no way to change your past. No one says that. I just don't like a lot of things about how this scene plays out. I like Anastasia's character and how they set that up. No, none of the competitors for the throne are weak. In fact, Amelia, because of just really bad luck, honestly, is probably the weakest. This is, I think, the point where he becomes just tired enough of being stupid to start trying to pay attention. Ah, I was like, Rem's got a streak of pink in her hair. Uh, but it was the ribbon. It's just far away. It looks different. Yeah. I love that that comes up in the final battle against Petal Goose. Oh, is this the loop where Rem's gonna get forgotten and he's yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think the next loop's where he lives. Yes, pretty sure. Almost positive. Mode. Liar. Ah, God, the foreshadowing in this show is so good. I wonder if there's a full map drawn out for the locations in ReZero, because it feels like such a complete world, but I'm not actually sure of the geography of it. Oh, here comes Mr. White Whale. We need Captain Ahab on this. Is it Captain Ahab that hunts the white whale, or is that a different guy? There's a Captain Ahab, I'm just not sure if that's the correct fictional character for the situation. Captain Ahab might be Count Olaf's disguise from Series of Unfortunate Events, actually. Nope, that's Moby Dick. Cool. Creepy ass scene. Introduction to a surprisingly good antagonist for a small arc. I expected to not like the White Whale. Because it's not a very interesting, like, design for combat, but they made it work. I, Shame it wasn't a pig's gluttony as a to hint at the gluttony of the white whale. Captain Sham, that's right, was the I was gonna look it up, but I remembered. Was the enemy of in the it was Count Olaf's disguise. The white whale! God, this thing's dangerous. Ah! Because of the witch's miasma. Mm-hmm. We're approaching my favorite scene in the show. Aww. No, you've got so much more to do. Well, actually, not really. At least not from what I've read. Not much for her to do in season 2. God, second time she did this shit. Uh, it's a very interesting power that the white whale has. And I think it's clear. I think it's been explained, but I don't remember what the explanation was. But greed and gluttony, the archbishops, have powers relating to memory, if I'm not mistaken. One of them can cause you the world to forget who you are, and the other can cause you to forget who you are. And I don't remember who's who. Oh, it would be gluttony, actually. Is, duh. The one who can make the world forget who you are. I don't. Ooh. They changed it from Sword Saint, which is way better. Who is Rem? That's gonna be. Oh God. And of course, this is where, because Subaru's stupid, Otto realizes that the reason the white whale's tracking them is because of Subaru. Oh God, it's amazing to me that Otto has become such an interesting character in season 2. I'm looking forward to it so hard because I don't think a lot of people appreciate Otto yet. And he's gonna push him. Oh, oh, poor bastard. I think he comes back in the book. I don't remember. Like out of regret or something like that. I might be thinking of a different loop. That's the confusing thing about ReZero is the loops can blend together a little bit. I like that it has the same wind powers that Rem does. Uh-huh. Poor bastard. I forget. Why does it disappear? Ah, the slow walk. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what happens. Good boy. Poor girl. Did we get to see Otto's body? I don't remember. Petra? Good God. I like that the only one not smile. Oh, I guess she did get there. Not smiling initially is Petra. She realized it's a little worse than the others realized, but I think I was giving her too much credit. Woo, this is a hard scene. Ram forgetting Rem. A whole season of Ram forgetting Rem is worse. What am I talking about? This is cakewalk compared to what I went through in the book. Oh my God. She becomes so unreasonably attached to Roswell because of her lack of connection to Rem, because of forgetting about her, that oof. Approaching my favorite scene in the show takes a lot of pain. Accurate. This is what's confusing to me, because apparently it's, at least to the Krush forces, public information. It's made super clear in the book that the white whale and its fog can make you forget people. That's why they handle their formations the way they do in groups of like 5 or 10 or however it is, so they know how many they've lost even if they don't know who they've lost. So I find it a little aggravating that she doesn't at least believe in concept what happened, because of apparently the white whale's thing being public information. Because watching the anime, it came across to me that no one knew about it because the white whale made you forget the people. So this scene confuses the heck out of me if this is public information. Not that she doesn't have that she has a hard time believing it, but that it's not even consideration that it could be true. If the white whale's power of making people forget is public information. No, it's just... She's got more annoying sense of humor than he does. People are setting up fireworks at this time of day? What the fuck is wrong with people? It's broad daylight outside. I hope it wasn't a gunshot. Run, run away and never return. Ah, I love this scene so much. Here we go. Ooh. I don't get why not once does he say to either of them that the witch's cult is coming. Because, like, might help a little. Maybe because he's used to people saying he's lying or something like that. See, and I get why she's upset right now, and I get why Puck's upset in a minute, though. Honestly, Puck earns my aggravation a little bit in this arc because it's just like, dude, you couldn't protect her. You keep letting her die. You get no credit. Your high and mighty bullshit needs to go away, Puck. This scene has such this show has such perfect highs and lows, and this is one of the best lows I've seen in anything. And now, ooh, this set of lines. It gives me genuine chills every time I read this whole thing, every time I see it, every time I see the expressions, every time I see the animation. Him seeing himself in the reflection of her eyes right here brings him into his own despair again. And of course, he's about to make a mistake he'll regret so hard forever, being directly responsible for her death. And it's gonna like caress his heart instead of like squeezing it because oh, hold me. Oh. And that spooks him more because usually a lot more painful in the moment, but instead, do you suppose that would work on someone he wants to die? Like, what if he was sitting here like, Julius, I can use return by death. Julius like, that would be it. That would be the ultimate hack. Hopefully he wouldn't do that on someone like Julius who doesn't deserve to die like that, but like, on someone who does? I don't think it would work on Petalgoose, because Petalgoose could still, like, go to another body. But... and more characterization for Beatrice that was better in the book. Coming up. I don't think Puck says it in the show, but in the book he very directly clarifies that he's gonna go destroy the world, but eventually Reinhardt will stop him, which is the first time we get direct clarification that Reinhardt is probably the most powerful being present in this world. Which is nuts. Mm-hmm. They also do a better job of selling the friendship. Not friendship, but the dynamic between these two in the book. So it feels like a bigger deal than the horrible thing he just asked her to do. Was it Brian and Stephanie, the reaction I watched, where they thought that Beatrice was the one who hired the witches cult? How close they were to figuring everything out and completely not. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I love the expression work in this show. God. I mean, granted, they probably didn't start it this year, but this will be 4 years of extra experience for Studio White Fox in Season 2 of animation technique. Is it gonna be better animated? I hope. And of course, Petalgoose is gonna walk up. I'm someone! I like killing people. Ta-da. Right? Can you? I mean, Amelia's got a lot of her own demons to overcome, which we're gonna see a little bit of in the next season. Kind of her failing, actually, which I like better. Did they ever directly spell out in the anime that Petalgoose is a spirit? Because I'm gonna be watching for that because that becomes very important later. And of course, here's where Puck steps in, and it's actually a worse situation. Are we gonna get to see this full scene? Because this was the end of the episode, if I recall correctly, in the original version. Nope, I guess not. Huh. Actually, I think they would because some of them have been over 50 minutes. I think they should have just done the full scene here, had him die at the end of the episode. It's just my opinion, though. It doesn't really matter in this case. Oh. I like the little line work doodles they have for this. It's like it's two different things to track: what's going on in the neon and what's going on in the children's book sketches. I like it. No, stop. Gotta stop for today. 10 through 13's tomorrow, though, which I don't, the day I film these doesn't really matter to you guys, but whatever. Have a good one.